Hello, everybody. My name is Karsten from MettaStartup Studio, and we are mentors of the biggest tech startup incubator in Portugal, and also otherwise heavily involved in the tech startup system overall. And we are always looking out for founders out there who are doing something special and how they work. What, is it that makes a founder a great founder? What makes a business building process a great business building process? And we pass that on in various ways in our business. So we recently came across somebody, it's Lewis, and we saw one of his posts on LinkedIn. That's how we kind of paid more attention to it, where he spoke at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology at the Sloan MIT Sports Analytics Conference. And he's not from there. And it was just very interesting. How did he get into that forum? And we looked a bit deeper into his startup, Flyfoot, and we noticed also that you're already sponsoring actually a first division team in Spain, the Levante team, as a high tech sponsor that provides the technology that you do provide. So yeah, that's why we thought there's a lot we can learn from a conversation with Lewis. And to maybe just more formally introduce him, I wrote down a little thing about him from how I got to know him after reaching out. So he is a Gemini, and like his sign, he lives in opposites. Very emotional personally, very analytical in business, a hard worker, great instincts and opportunities, sharp social skills, loyal, funny. He doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, and I know he is the type of guy that has never and would never cheat on his girlfriend or his investors. And I've personally met Lewis in the past as well at another engagement, and I can totally, vouch for this and what I felt and experienced in this collaboration back then. And as he says himself, I prefer to sink the ship of trust rather than sail on the ocean of unloyalty. So with this, please welcome Luis Llagostera. Hello.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Karsten, for that introduction. Thank you very much.
Nice. Nice to have you here, Luis. Tell me, first of all, where are you at right now? Because you're always all around the place. Where are you?
Yeah, I tend to move a little bit. Yeah, right now I'm in Madrid, but I'm flying to Venezuela first, and then Buenos Aires, then probably to Lima, and then back to Madrid, or maybe I stop in Rio. Yeah, back to Madrid afterwards.
Oh, that's a busy schedule there, man. Right on. I mean, that's I guess, building this momentum, building the startup, it comes with this putting the word out there, promoting the company, and I'm sure not an easy path that you're going through there, but amazing achievements as we see already.
Thank you, man. Yeah, you know that the hardest thing is to sell, I think, or one of the hardest.
And
Um,
most crucial.
and most crucial, yeah, because you have to
Yeah.
pay the bills. So yeah, I'm trying to be 24/7, selling the company, selling the vision, and getting people on board. Yeah.
Amazing. Nice. Makes a lot of sense. And you're Spanish, but you speak English, as we all hear right now. You speak French, you speak Portuguese, and even a little bit of German, which makes me, of course, a little happy as a German. We're based in Portugal ourselves, with the company. So as you speak Portuguese, maybe is there anything you want to say to some clients, investors in Brazil or Portugal in Portuguese?
Eu não falo português, eu falo portunhol, faz uma mescolana. Mas eu
That's
posso dizer que eu nunca fui a uma classe de português, nunca. Mas eu tive os melhores professores de português do mundo. Meu tio, irmão do meu pai, ele ficou namorado com uma carioca anos 71 e quando ele voltou em Natal, ele portou toda a musiquinha de essa época. E é por isso que nós, a nossa família, falamos um pouquinho de portunhol por isso. Porque ele portou a musiquinha e falamos um pouquinho disso. Sim.
Oh, wow, amazing. I'm sure that thank you very much. I'm sure that helps a lot as well, building the bridges, right? When you speak the languages across the globe, that to
You know, every now and then I come across some of the Brazilian top legends, like maybe, I don't know, Baptista or Ronaldo. When I have the chance to be with them, I try
you
to
met
talk a
them.
bit of Portuguese. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Ah, amazing.
to talk a little bit of Portuguese, but in reality they speak better Spanish than I do. So we end up speaking in Spanish.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Switching to English again. So like in your life right now, like what's your next biggest objective in your life personally or work-wise, whatever comes up for you? Like where are you working towards right now?
So life, I mean, work-wise, I'm very happy with everything. We can review that afterwards if you want. But life-wise, I think that it's the moment to settle down, find the correct spouse, have some kids, raise them properly, just like my family did with me, my parents. So yeah, I think that's what the mission requires now.
Thank you for sharing this personal insight as well. And yeah, like for sure, starting something like I guess your life is fully immersed in the startup journey, building something from scratch like you did. It takes a lot. So like sometimes it is about this balance, where does the personal life suffer? Maybe it's a short-term sacrifice sometimes, where you build for something bigger, you build the business, you're investing, but you're sacrificing a bit. And it sounds like, what I'm hearing from you want to bring that other part, to complete the picture now that you're gaining this momentum in the business.
Correct, man. You're you're right, man. You're right. For the past 8 years, I've been 24/7 into the company, into the business, into the market. And I do feel I left behind a little bit of my personal side. No, I didn't have so much fun, or I didn't have so much time with my family or friends, or I didn't build that area. Now I think it's starting to be the correct path while keeping and maintaining the others, huh?
Of course, I don't think as a founder you can ever stop,
No.
but but the level of intensity is always higher in the first, 3 to 5 years. And once there is more systems that work more predictably, like for you, it's starting, to really gain this momentum now. I think there is the opportunity to bring a bit of that back into your life for sure.
Correct. Yeah.
So why we reached out to you as well in the first place, right? You were at a speaker actually at the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference 25. So how was it? Like, how did you get in there, first of all, and how was it standing among the best startups in the world and the best startup founders in the world over there? Tell
It
us
was
about that.
it was great, man. It was incredible. Um, we competed against some of the best, as you say, well-funded startups in the US. It's nothing to do with what we have here. They do have money, they do have talent, and we felt and we feel very lucky to be part of that event and to be presenting our technology. I do believe that Spain has a lot of talent, and we do have great engineers. Maybe we don't sell ourselves as good as Americans do, but when it comes to competing one-to-one, head-to-head, I think we stand the game. And it was great, man. It was fantastic. We learned so much from them. They've got huge vision, huge mentality. Something that here we lack of that. Let's say entrepreneurial risk take mindset. No, I wish we had more of that. But we enjoyed it, man. It was great for us. It was great for me personally. It was fantastic recognition. You can imagine how proud our investors were. My mom, you can imagine having a kid who was
Absolutely.
horrible as a student ending up presenting on the MIT, doesn't make sense.
That's amazing. And how did you get in? I mean, that was that in itself, not they don't take anybody just to be part of that, process.
Yeah, correct. Normally they take students from the MIT and maybe, I don't know, Harvard or Stanford, something like that. We were the outsiders and the underdog, 100%. We do have a fantastic product. We've got very good technology. We've got a great track record on our clients. We service the best football clubs in the world. Our metrics are solid. We're growing, and they just like our product and the way we marketed it.
You you sound like the mix between Adidas and Nike, because we both worked at some point for Adidas, right? And that's where I first got to know you and worked with you to some degree. And what we always looked at, Adidas, they really care for the product. They are like crafting the product, they care for the product. It's the king. The US, they are the bold, marketing machine that starts with a story. And in a way, you're in Europe building crafting the product and the technology, which you mentioned that was one of the factors that got you there. But at the same time, you are in your mindset and your behavior, as people might see now from you and your passion for the product and everything that you do, you're the storyteller. You even call yourself that on LinkedIn, and you passionately sell. So I see that how that could be a really nice combination.
Yeah, man, they liked our strategy because our strategy is very simple. We create, we put a lot of time into innovation. Then we celebrate properly the victories of our clients. So that makes us stand very close to the clubs and the analysts and the coaches. We learn a lot from those personal relationships that we create with those let's say stakeholders. and those learnings bring us the first step into innovation. So it's a it's a 360 path, and it works out perfectly for us. Imagine we were able to present on the MIT, and
Yeah.
I don't know, the others are already invested, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 million dollars into their company. And we're a very small company compared to them. But like I said before, if we're going to compete head to head, we stand the game.
It speaks to the product and the team for sure. Like, congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you,
And I'm
man.
sure your mom was also proud to hear that you're not just, presenting at MIT, but also in other, master's programs. There's 4 MBA programs that I saw, the ISDI, IEB, UEM Real Madrid, and the IE program. And actually, let me share my screen because it's not just it's insane that he's running a startup, right? And he's going through this journey of raising, of dealing with investors, dealing with the business, with the industry, learning, improving. And then look at this. He also is a professor at universities, and not just is he that, by far the best class on the entire master was one of them. The other one, different speaking engagement as in the master's program. Again, the best professor because of the practical nature, because of the passion, because of the engagement. It's not just theory. That's what the students were saying here. So that's crazy actually. It's not your job. It's a side gig in a way, and you're ruling this one like amazing. Like tell me a little bit about that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So yeah, well, one university, the European University Real Madrid program, they invited me to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. So I went there and I told my story. I brought some learnings on top of the table. They loved it. And one university talked to another one, then, word of
Mm.
mouth. And right now I'm engaged in like 4 or 5 universities teaching an MBA. And they like what I talk about, but it's not seriously. I don't feel myself. I don't see myself as a huge rock star in teaching. That I think that the other teachers maybe they don't do it correctly. It's not my merit. It's
But you are the rock star, and then you become a teacher, and then it's a,
correct,
te- it's a rock star teaching, like
correct,
so
correct.
you teach from the rock star journey, I think, in a way.
Yeah, I think that that's the main difference. So
Mm.
I bring a story. I communicate from the heart. I don't do politics. I tell the truth, or at least my point of view, and then I just give them the control of the class. So I
Mm.
give some topics that they might interest them, and they choose the speed, and I guide them through the class to discover at the speed they want
Mm.
the different learnings. The lucky thing for me is that as I've been 8 years, 24/7 working for Flyfoot, raising money, hiring, firing, etc., product, market fit, everything, we can land wherever they want in the conversation, and it's fun. I try also to measure the
Mm.
humor and the tone of the register of the communications, and it's great. They like it. I like it. We have fun, and yeah, I never ever in my life thought I could be a teacher.
Yeah, but it sounds like you have a good understanding of how the human works, and you have a lot of customer centricity because you're looking at the students, and there's also a sense of respect I get from the way you talk about the students. You really respect them and you look at them from that perspective, and you share your people might say you are at a higher standing than them, but it almost sounds like you're really going on the same level with them and teaching them from your experience, like genuinely caring.
Absolutely. That's the first sentence I say when I enter the class. I say, "Hey, I'm not a teacher. I'm an entrepreneur.
Mm.
I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm gonna talk from the heart, and you tell me when to stop." And I think the other teachers, what they do is that they just go there, they throw a PowerPoint, 240 slides, and it's death by PowerPoint for everyone. And it's a pity because these guys they pay a lot of money to get their certificate from the MBA. And
Mm.
having a teacher going there for 4 hours talking nonsense without zero experience, or at least not communicating the truth, the reality, it's not fair. I prefer to be wrong, but to tell a true story than
Mm.
go with the
I
overall like
think also the system
experience.
has changed, and this is an older system that's still in place, and there's a bigger shift. And you're in the startup world. You if you don't adapt to the latest greatest way of doing things, and you're not practical and you're not innovative, like that doesn't work. So I think you're bringing that new way of doing things into the classroom in a way.
Thank you. Yeah, it
Um,
is. That's the feedback I get from the directors of the masters. So yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. I hope they'll take some of that, as inspiration for going forward for the rest of the study. So just another thing that we understood, so that you were approached by education tech company to record your class on, you're just involved in so many like things that I guess comes with, your achievements and where you're going, but to help candidates dominate their job recruiting process. So they saw you in action, they offered you this collab, and yeah, like tell me, like how's that working? What is that all about?
So normally when a university hires me to give, like 4 hours or 8 hours session about entrepreneurship or something like that, the last part is focused on how to make the candidate more defensible in a recruiting process, no?
Mm,
So I just give them the keys on how to make them better at finding a job, securing the interview, nailing the interview, and negotiating afterwards the contract, no? And they loved it. One student talked to another guy talked to another guy, and then they approached me and they said, "Hey, Luis, we would love to see you perform this because we think it's a high value content.
mm,
We are a company that we sell content, educational content. We would love to offer you a contract. We record this with you. We will pay for all the ads and the platform and everything, and we will just be your partners here on a revenue share basis, and we can scale this."
amazing.
So I loved it, man, because it really doesn't take too much time from my side. We just record once. It's going to be a couple of
Mm.
hours, maybe more, and they will be able to put that internationally out there.
Nice.
So
Also
yeah,
a good PR for your personal brand for sure. And but also like such a value because I really see that you're when you're describing it now, what comes up for me is you're actually taking the process of pitching and selling as an entrepreneur into the recruitment process in a way, right? That's it feels like it.
correct, 100%. We all must understand that we are product and seller of our own selves.
Mm.
If we don't do that correctly, we're leaving money on top
And
of the
nobody
table.
teaches you this. They teach you to prepare certain questions as standard questions you should have a prepared answer for. Yeah.
Correct. So
Amazing.
being
What?
different makes you
Sorry.
makes you more defensible. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, you need to stick out. Just to kind of wrap up maybe this section, like, is there anything else, any other investments, any other things that you're involved in, beyond this?
Yes, 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 100%. I recently bought a small percentage on a football club in the States, in Atlanta, in Georgia. It's called Georgia United. We're bringing a
Nice.
huge project on academy, and the first team looks amazing. We're looking into buying a football club in Argentina, second division. It's going to be complicated because the SAD is not ready yet, but I think we can land that one. Yeah, many investments, man. Some will work out perfectly. Others, just like startups, they bankrupt. For example, I remember this one that I was part of in a way called Vitamins. Fantastic product. They were like healthy gummies
Mm,
for the skin and yeah, to sleep better and all of that. And it was a pity because there were three founders, a guy and then two girls. They made the mistake of unbalanced equity distribution. And then the CEO, who was the guy was really leading the company, he was fed up because the other two were blocking everything. And I tried to come in on board and buy the percentage of the equity of these two other, let's say, founders, and they were horrible. They lied on the due diligence. They say they had less debt that they had. They tried to make me sign, like, slip in a clause that said something like I would take care of the 350K they didn't declare in debt, that I would make that personally. And in the end, I couldn't help them. It was really painful because they had a fantastic product, and
mm.
I think they're now filing for bankruptcy. But yeah, apart from that, the other investments I've made are fantastic. Normally sports, tech sports, some in fashion also. But yeah, I'm starting to put little, let's say, seeds over
Yeah.
there.
And especially, I guess, the investments in related industries, that's such a smart move, actually. Be involved on a deeper level, across the entire, I guess, supply chain of the industry in a way.
Correct. Absolutely.
All right, so let me maybe shift the gear a little bit towards entrepreneurship, personal challenges, like what, there's lots of things out there of like what is it to be a founder? Like in your words, like from your experience, what's the hardest part of being a founder?
Um, I think it's uncertainty, like navigating without the answers, and that's a daily trip. That is the hardest thing, having to take decisions without the full picture,
Mm,
because that comes to having more responsibility in uncertainty weighs way more, and
mm.
that makes it, yeah, I think that is the one.
So really like having to make decisions all the time, but
Yeah.
not having all the answers and always this little thing in the back of your head, it might be wrong.
Because it's impossible to have all the picture,
Mm.
completely impossible to have you don't know what the marketing is bringing to you. You don't know. Yeah, there are things that you just can't control.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you for this. In terms of maybe, you know, that was kind of like what's the most difficult part, but what as a CEO, as a founder, like what do you value the most personally in your journey, in your team, in yeah, any of that?
Loyalty and performance. I think those two are
Explain.
most important. Yeah, because without any of those, you're dead. I mean, if you have a guy that is not loyal, he's gonna kill you. If you have a guy that is not performing, he's gonna kill you either. Either way. So I try to look for people that have loyalty and performance. If they don't have them, it doesn't work.
What, if anything, do you do? Because like, loyalty and performance, it's two big things that to get from people. It takes a lot of, like energy and a lot of belief and trust from people to give you this. Like, what, if anything, do you do to create an environment? I'm sure a lot of founders out there are like, yes, exactly what Louis says, but how? Like every human is different. Like how do you create an environment where that is more likely to come
Yeah.
through? Is it the
Uh,
hiring process? Is it the way you
hiring,
engage in the company?
yeah, hiring process is crucial, but creating the culture. I think you have to like really, yeah, state the culture of the company on the first day, and
Hmm.
then be very clear on how you do things internally. What's the vision? What's the standards? And how do you want people to perform and to act internally? And those two things have to be the main course.
Okay, so to be extremely clear from the start before
Yeah,
any other dynamics or behaviors get established, like this is the way we behave and this is how it works. And if that's a fit initially, I guess then it will grow
correct.
naturally. Okay, so you're not just the founder, but you're also the CEO of Flyfoot. So like what is this? There's always this topic about, the loneliness on the top. Like, do you feel any of that? Does that come through in the journey? Like anything to say around this topic?
Correct. I'm CEO right now. I'm co-CEO because we just named Pedro, the other co-CEO. He helps a lot. He's fantastic. He was the first intern for Flyfoot, and then he went like from position to position. Now he made it to co-CEO. So he helps me a lot. But I completely understand the concept of loneliness of the CEO. In the end, you're making decisions on your own. In the end, the ultimate responsible is yourself, and sometimes you don't even have that support at home.
Hmm.
You cannot bring some conversations to your girlfriend, or because you don't want to like make her carry that too. She already has
Hmm.
enough with what she has. But yeah, the loneliness of the CEO is something that it's real. I do think that sometimes it's good because it makes you grow and it makes you go
Hmm.
full into what you have to solve. But it's a challenge. It's a hard one.
Yeah, absolutely. Like also the uncertainty you mentioned earlier, right? It's like it makes you grow. Having to go through this discomfort over and over, being at this pressed to this edge of discomfort, you must grow. You must grow to keep succeeding in the business.
Correct, 100%.
So also another question maybe similar to when you are at the top, when you are a public figure, you go to these conferences, you have an opinion, you're passionate about your opinion, you grow a business, you become, more, you take in more leadership in the industry. Like how do you handle the natural kind of criticism that comes with being in such a leadership position internally, externally? Like how do you deal with that?
I'm good with criticism, both personally and professionally. Remember that I played for Real Madrid in the academy very young. Um, when you play for Real Madrid in the academy, even if no one knows you, you still have a lot of visibility, and visibility will bring you criticism. Okay, both professionally and personally. So you've got the pressure and the critics of your coach, head of academy, analyst, whatever, because you have to perform to the levels of Real Madrid, 100%. But you also get the criticism at school because you're the only one that plays for Real Madrid. Sometimes kids are brutal, and just by the fact that maybe you play better football than them, you're in the hot spot all day. It's normal. You just have to get used to it. It's part of the job. And when it comes to professionally, like in Flyfoot, I prefer people to trash me or trash the company than they know that they don't know us, no, or they don't know me. I think it's worse if they never heard about you than if they trash you a little bit. You know, I prefer to be
So
visible.
being criticized means actually it's an achievement because I'm out there and people know about me, and that's great. And
Correct.
dealing with it is something that you already learned early on in, in this high performance culture of the Academy of Real Madrid, as well as school. It's a lesson of life in a way that you keep learning.
People criticize Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, you know.
Yeah, of course.
These two, they just
Either or,
yeah,
one of them they criticize, the other one they love.
yeah, which is crazy, no?
Yeah.
So if those guys get criticism, the rest of the human beings, it's normal for us, you know.
What do you think is like, as we're talking about this like criticism and stuff, like is that the skill, or what is the most important skill that you would say a founder needs to bring to the table to have a highest chance for success?
Handling pressure, first one. Focus, being able to stay focused under pressure, and
Mm.
the art of selling. You have to be able to sell your vision, sell your confidence, sell the product. You have to be able to sell. But if you're missing one of those three, I think it will be very hard.
So handling pressure, not giving into the pressure, being able to be resilient to that, having a clear focus, clarity of where you want to spend your energy, and then also obviously to be able to sell and market what you got.
Correct. That's it.
Awesome. Okay. In terms of another topic that I heard you say before, and I was intrigued by it. I liked it. I had mixed feelings at some point, but it would be just very interesting to hear from you. Like, you say you don't believe in democracy in startups. Tell me why.
No, I don't believe in democracy in the startups. It doesn't work. Democracy means politics, internal politics, and that means
Mm,
use time. Normally, a startup doesn't have time. You have to execute fast. You have to learn fast. The only way to make a startup succeed is by like noble dictatorship. You know, get things done, get them super fast. But if we start to talk about what does everyone think about this, things are not going to get done, and
mm.
that's why I believe that democracy is not the governance system that any startup could accept.
I like what you said there, the noble dictatorship. That should be an official definition of this in the books.
Yeah, and in reality, man, I mean, in the day-to-day life, democracy, it's not a let's say, it doesn't guarantee that the country is going to be richer.
Mm. Yeah, no, I noticed in Germany. I mean, I'm German, and we are, looked at as a pretty solid country out there in the world. And German efficiency is being called out a lot of times. But then I notice how we don't have internet everywhere in Germany yet. And it feels like, somewhere along the democracy where we are highly democratic and there's a lot of liberal movements, which is great. But then also I see how there is a lack of progress and innovation sometimes that comes with that, So I totally see how, especially in early startup phases, it's yeah, that might be not helpful. Absolutely. Okay. So another topic that I want to touch on with you before we close off, like what's your vision? What's your plan for Flyfoot? I mean, you've built this up now. You're gaining really nice momentum. It's growing. Like, are you aiming for an exit? Are you aiming for, a generational company for your kids, for your family? Like tell me, like what are your thoughts around this? If you
Okay.
want to, if there's
Yeah.
already something you
No,
can
I'd
share.
love to. I'd love to. Sometimes we spoke about this in the past. I would love my kids to inherit the company. I'm in love with the vision that my grandfather had back in the 1950s, 1960s. If you remember, my grandfather was a doctor and a pharmacist. He created incredibly successful products. If you remember in the book From Zero to One from Peter Thiel,
Gilman,
he,
yeah.
he speaks about vertical and horizontal innovation, no? And he says that good products, really good products, are the one that can stand in the market as leaders for 10 years, no? So my grandfather, he died in 1969, and he created products like since 1950s. Some of the products he created back in 1960 today are still alive, zero modification since then. Okay, 60 years ago, those products are still in the counter and selling. Imagine how good he was. Okay, of course, I'm not
Or
my
how much
grandfather.
democracy there was in between.
Non-democracy. No, zero.
That's
uh,
amazing.
but I'm in love with this let's say vision. No, it's a very romantic vision.
Hmm.
I'm not my grandfather. I don't have his talent, and but I do love the idea of a family managing responsibly a company, and that's my vision for
That's
now.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Amazing.
not interested in doing exits right now. We're having fun right now.
Nice. Sounds amazing. Maybe just to wrap up today, then, having learned so much about you and clearly having seen, your experience, your journey come through, with different, points that you gave us and all the other founders out there. Like, what's this one message maybe for a young founder, CEO that you want to like give them along on a founder level, maybe on a personal level? To take into their life and really like if there's one thing you want to give to them, what would that one thing be?
Will be forget the Instagram version of entrepreneurship. That's all bullshit.
What?
Focus on knowledge and focus on grinding and on working and getting as much experience as possible. Um, yeah,
So
Instagram version of entrepreneurship, it's completely
what is
wrong.
the Instagram version of entrepreneurship that
Yeah,
you
it's like
the way you
posting all the
define?
time that you're working and posting all your meetings and posting all your bullshit. No, you should be focused on really getting contracts, getting people to sign, getting people to pay, getting people to buy. That's what really matters.
Okay, so don't, we see this a lot as well in founders, we have an ego, all of us, which, is also a good thing. But we want to like put ourselves out there. We are doing something fun, we're doing something cool, and we want the gratification from the
Yeah,
external world. And what you're saying is, you know, fine, like maybe, but your main focus should not be there. Your focus should be on generating value, and
correct.
the other thing will probably come at the back of that.
100%. It has to be a consequence.
All right, awesome. So thank you very much for your time, Luis. It's been amazing having you here. Thank you for your wisdom, for sharing, and wishing you a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank
Hope
you
to stay
very
in
much,
touch.
Karsten. Thank you very much for having me, for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. Nice to have you. Cheers.